Hey everyone, welcome to the Project Esports podcast. It's March 18th. We have a special guest, Kate, here, and she's filling in for Andrew, who's taking a little break today. So yeah, Kate, tell us a little bit about yourself. We're really excited to have you on.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Everyone, my name is Kate Shepard. I also go by Sybil on the internet. I'm a beat writer for the Game House. I cover the Philadelphia Fusion, the Paris Eternal, and then I just kind of help out wherever I'm needed from there.
The Overwatch expert.
Yes, expert, air quotes.
But yeah, so James, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. As discussed previously, I'm having trouble with technology, and I'm really showing my age right now. But other than that, I'm not doing too bad. It's been a decent Monday. We
were talking a little bit before, but we just wanted to bring up something that's not inherently esports related, but kind of like Twitch related, because it's such a weird phenomena. But everyone's playing GTA RP right now, and it's really weird. So like everyone, like not just like a couple streamers, but like literally everyone's playing it, and I don't know why. I think it's one of those things of where like someone like Shroud starts playing it, and then everyone's like, hold up a second, this is what the viewers want. So James, have you been watching any of it?
Yeah, so my big go-to has been Summit, who roleplays a character by the name of Charles. For somebody who was like one of those closet role players back in the day on Warcraft, this brings like special joy to me to see that like I sat there and I'm like, they're role playing right now. This is what I'm watching. I'm watching a bunch of guys role play drug lords or like drug dealers and like playing GTA, and they're all having a total blast. And I'm just like, okay, I can get behind this. This seems great. So yeah, no, I've been debated trying to get into it because it seems like a lot of fun.
And so apparently all like the big streamers are on the same server.
Yeah, I guess there's like particular server rules and stuff like that. That's why you like nobody ever breaks character, because if you break character, you get banned from the server. And like I guess they're pretty like big on like who like how strict they are and stuff like that. I guess there was this one guy who was known to like roleplay a cop, and he like went to conventions like dressed as a cop and stuff like that. And then some stuff went down, and then somebody even as popular as him got like the boot. So like they don't mess around. I wouldn't surprise me if they banned like major streamers and stuff like that, because they just like, well, you broke the code of conduct, right?
Yeah. Kate, have you been watching any of it?
I've just seen, I know Tin's been playing it, looking over at Twitch right now. Soda Poppin's playing it right now. So a lot of big streamers are. I just haven't really tuned in or kind of understand what's going on. But I'm with you, James, on the back in the WoW days RP thing.
Yeah, you're not alone. You get it.
You're not alone.
So I actually want to talk about one of my favorite streamers who's playing it right now. He doesn't normally play video games. It's actually, I think I'm pronouncing the name right, but Kit Boga.
Oh, dude, Kit Boga's great.
Yeah,
I love Kit Boga.
So he is the dude. Normally has like the big aviator sunglasses on, and he just talks with like scam callers all day. Like the tech support scam callers. That's all he does is just talk with them and mess with them. And he has like a little timer to see how long he can keep them on the line to like mess with them. And he actually has a voice changer that sounds like an old woman. And so he puts that on. He pretends to be like a grandma and just wastes their time, because that's, old grandmas are like prime targets for that kind of stuff. But he actually uses that in this GTA RP. And so he's just like role playing like this old woman. It's hilarious. Good. I love it.
Kip
Boga's characters are like all like so good. I watched him for like a month straight because he's so entertaining and he's so good at what he does.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's kick this over to some actual esports news. So I just want to talk about the Simpsons. That was like the big thing going on this week, I guess. So the whole story behind that is Simpsons were like, hey, we have a esports episode. I think I was the only one here that actually watched it.
Yeah.
So apparently the writers did their due diligence. They went and toured the Team Liquid house, and they worked with the two co-founders of Riot. I forget which two exactly, but two of the upper dudes.
Trindamere and Rise, I'm assuming. But Mark Merrill and another dude.
Maybe. I don't remember the exact names, but they talked with two of the higher ups at Riot to try to get this somewhat realistic. I don't know, like I don't want to say it was bad, because it wasn't like bad, it was just like not for us, really. Like it wasn't for people who are really into esports or anything, because like I mean, I guess like the big like reigning like sentiment about The Simpsons right now is that it's just like old and stale and like it's just like the same old over and over. It's not really all that funny. And so I'm not a big Simpsons fan, so I can't say whether or not it was a good episode or not. It was just, I don't know, it was like kind of boring, lukewarm. I didn't really laugh, but like, it was interesting. They used gamer lingo and everything. They brought up like ganking and stuff like that, which was kind of cool. Even though they used it completely wrong. Like they're all in the main base attacking and they're like, oh, I'm gonna get ganked from behind. I was like, oh, that's sure.
Do we give them it? Like, do we be like, hey guys, good job for doing it? Or are we like, come on, like you went to like the biggest representation or one of the biggest representations in esports and you still kind of screwed it up. Like,
so this ran with the trope of, like they ran with the gamer tropes a little bit. But it wasn't too bad. They ran with it a little bit, but it wasn't horrible, So I would say this didn't hurt anything. And maybe it gets some of the older people understanding what esports is a little bit.
Is it as damaging as Big Bang Theory technically is to like geek culture?
Oh, no, nowhere close.
I don't think nowhere close.
Because I feel like if you're gonna go do your research, like go to like Riot and stuff like that, you should at least try to get the correct information relayed. Like it's a minor thing, like the little sayings like ganking, but I mean, for my dad,
the core concept,
like my dad has no idea what an esport is, but he's trying. Like he would appreciate probably learning the proper term.
Yeah. He like someone like him might enjoy the episode a little bit more because it didn't say any terms that were like too wild or crazy, and like I said, they didn't paint it in like a terrible light. Because like the whole episode revolves around like Bart and his friends. They have like essentially a League of Legends team, and Homer like coaches them and like becomes their coach. But it paints it in a fairly good light because like they don't go like, oh, like you're wasting your time playing video games or anything. Like the whole premise is like it's they're playing games and they're going to tournaments and stuff like that. And like I don't know, it was okay. Like I said, it was okay. Like I feel very lukewarm on it.
I know the one particular scene involving the girl on the team got a little bit of PR, or like it started circling the Twitterverse a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, her literal quote being like, "I'll be the first woman in esports to be famous if I win or lose," and like it just stays at that. Which I mean, like
it was very on the nose. It was very on the nose. So that was definitely for the esports community a little bit. I think that line specifically.
That was for us. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, like I know you guys didn't see it, but do you think we're going to see more things like this? Because I mean, I'm trying to think of other shows that feature esports and stuff like that. The only thing I can really think of is two examples. One of my favorite shows of all time, the Netflix exclusive Degrassi. The new one.
What?
Yeah, the Netflix has an exclusive Degrassi Next Class.
No. The fact that it featured esports in Degrassi.
They had a club. They had a school club. Yeah, one of their clubs was like basically like a League of Legends club.
Okay.
It was great. I love Degrassi. It's wonderful. It's my guilty pleasure. And then before that, the only other thing I can think of that's like somewhat video game adjacent was the South Park World of Warcraft episode.
Oh, dude,
which is like Hall of Fame. Like,
yeah,
it's that one is like God's here. Like, it's going to be very hard to make something like that because I don't know. It was very special.
There was a web series that was started back like a while ago that like this dude basically like I don't know, it kind of like followed this dude who was like basically like a bum, but he was like a pro gamer. So like what he would do is like he wanted to go. I think he played StarCraft. That was his thing. He either played it was a oh my god, it was like it was one of the strategy games, and like he tried to go to like a PC Bang in like the States, and like a whole crew of people like raiding World of Warcraft were there, and he was all pissed off. So he basically helped them kill the boss, and then like took over and stuff like that. And they had some like cool kind of characters from like different genres. Like FPS Dan was a guy. Like if you ever heard like the boom headshot meme, like the sound clip, that's what it's from. So
oh really?
Yeah.
That's a classic meme.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And that show is that show was around like a while ago. I think it only ever made like one season. It wasn't bad. They tried, but that was still early-esque in esports. Like it wasn't like that was franchising was like years and years ahead. Like wasn't even a concept at that point. So
yeah. Someone in chat also brought up that it was mentioned briefly on One Day at a Time. So shouts out to that show. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Elena, the Gladiators fan, which I needed so much more of her watching Overwatch League. That was adorable. But I completely forgot about that. That was a good.
Is there any other shows that you can think of, Kate, that mention it?
Honestly, no. Like One Day at a Time is really the only thing I've seen that was like directly like, hey, this is a parent supporting her daughter's esport. Because like Elena's in there going like, let's go Gladiator. She's freaking out. And then you just see Lupe just kind of go, woo, in the background. Like she's just cheering because her daughter's happy. Like that's the most supportive thing I've seen so far. And like the only really current esport thing I can think of.
And it like directly references like something that's going on like in real life, which is cool.
Yeah.
There was the Netflix series 7 Days Out, which they did. Basically 7 Days Out was like massive events in like North America that like basically showed like the prep phase and stuff like that for like various people that were involved, either like running the running the event or like people participating in the events. And they did the 2017 summer NALCS finals.
Oh, but this was like a docu-series, right?
It was a docu-series, so like I don't know where to peg.
No, it doesn't.
I'm trying.
That doesn't count.
There's plenty of esports documentaries,
guys. Come on.
But yeah, so I mean, it was okay. Hopefully we see more things like this. I don't know. But I guess we'll shift gears and we'll go to our favorite podcast within a podcast, Project Overwatch. And we'll actually throw this over to Kate. So Kate, you want to talk some Overwatch, your specialty?
I do. I would love to talk some Overwatch. Which game should we start with? Because there were a lot of good ones this weekend.
Let's talk about the game that actually mattered. The game that was the most important.
Oh, God.
Overwatch deserved his win. That's all I will say about that entire game.
I'm very, very happy that that Washington won. I'm very happy.
I bet you are. For anybody who doesn't know, Washington played Florida, and it was a 5-round slug match that can't be described in any other way other than a clown fiesta. That's all it was. But they're both mine and Dylan's team. And I unfortunately was being a atypical Canadian in snowboarding through the first part.
Classic.
I know. And I came back and it was 2-1. I was like, oh my God, we can turn this around. And then I seen the stat pop up that there was like only 3 teams that have ever done a reverse sweep, and we were not the 4th, unfortunately. So that was it was a mess. It was an absolute mess.
I'm surprised y'all didn't have like a crazy bet or anything going on for that one.
We knew the we're both bottom tier teams. Mm-hmm. We knew that it was good. Like there's no betting on that.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think about the match? Was it results that you thought were going to happen, or was it just whatever's going to happen happens?
Rachel's probably going to kill me, but I thought Florida was going to take it, honestly. But that's not because I think they're good, James. Don't even
whatever.
Don't take that. It's just statistically, I thought Washington would kind of have a Shanghai kind of first stage. Mm-hmm. But I'm really happy they proved me wrong, because Otto really deserved that win, because he went from Shanghai to the Washington Justice. And then it's really hard to see Giannis go from New York Excelsior to that as well. So I was really happy for them. And they all just looked really happy. So I was happy that they were happy. I was not happy during that entire thing, though. I loved his little quote at the end where he was like, I planned to cry, but I guess since we won, I can smile.
Yeah.
He's so sweet. I'm still trying to determine whether or not that was worse than the Valiant Houston match, but I don't think it was, just because those are 2 competent teams.
Mm-hmm. So
wait a second.
Slightly better.
Go ahead, James.
You're calling our teams incompetent? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So did you see the pickup that Justice did?
Yes.
I think just today. What do you think about that?
I'm confused but excited. I think this is just what Washington needed. Their support line, as a support main, I can kind of brag on this a little bit more. It's not that great, in comparison to like, I do think Florida does have a little bit of a better support line, little bit, but it's like, this is something that they need. And since Ark has worked with Giannis before, he'll be able to keep him up longer.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll really go a long way, I think, going into stage 2.
Okay. And so I'm a very casual viewer of Overwatch, so I don't really watch New York play or anything too much. Was he playing this stage?
He was benched. Okay. So that's another reason why I think that's a good idea. There are a lot of bench players that I think should not be benched, and Ark was definitely up there for me because last season, the reason for me that Jonak was able to do so many Jonak things was because of Ark. Okay. Not to say that their current main healer is bad by any means. They're all amazing players, but for me, they were just kind of like, the Batman and Robin dynamic duo thing. So it was sad for me to see him on the bench.
Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't know that you can actually just pick up players from other teams just like in the middle of a season like this.
Mid-season, yeah.
Yep. That's what happened with Custa last year from Dallas to the Valiant. I remember because I was watching the stream that day on April Fool's Day. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not getting traded. That's a whole bunch of BS. And he drew like a fake Valiant, logo over the Dallas logo. And then the next day it was announced. So it happens just like that.
Coincidentally, another player that's riding the bench right now.
Yes, which...
Because he's too smart. He's too big brain.
Smart. His brain is too wrinkly and too powerful to play the damn meta.
Yeah. As a Florida fan, I'm just holding out for stage 2 and the meta change, because then we'll eventually get Seiya player back, which will be nice.
That'll be scary.
Yeah, because all he is a name pot right now, which is he's great at it, but that's all he can do. You know what I mean? So.
So what do you all think about the end of the first stage? I mean, season 2, we got some new teams in there, kind of dominated by goats. But overall, what is your thoughts about the end of stage 1?
You go ahead, Kate.
Yeah. I'm happy Philly made it. I'm not happy with how they did, per se. One game in particular. It's okay. We're getting our revenge in April, so it's all okay. We have one more chance.
We're bottom of the bracket. You kind of got your revenge anyways.
A lot of teams that should have done well did not, which I think surprised everyone. Valiant. Let's see who else was kind of bottom. The Gladiators, which I'm still reeling about. Paris kind of had a really big downfall. So did the Spark. Defiant rose up. It's just, there weren't enough games for me to really gauge how good everyone is right now, especially at GOATs, because GOATs take so much precision. It's just not enough to say who is actually a good GOATs team and who just got lucky, So for me, I'm a little disappointed with a couple of the teams that didn't make it into playoffs, but at the end of the day, Philly made it. So that's all I care about.
Well, I mean, I guess that leads on to the next point of where we're not quite done with stage 1. We still have playoffs and everything. And then also, we have those tiebreakers.
Those are not going to be broadcasted.
They're not going to be broadcasted.
Nope, they announced that just before stream. I made sure before.
All right, so just fill us in on all the details with tiebreakers, what the whole deal around them is.
Okay, so I'm probably butchering the name of this website. Unicorn. Okay, yep. Thank you. Dustin did an article kind of explaining the rules for tiebreakers. And basically what it boils down to is that if there is a tie between 2 or more teams, the teams will play the tie-breaking match, and it will go to the regular season match rules. And then basically what it's going to be, according to the tweet, let me just pop it up really quick. It's going to be non-broadcast standard match, and the first one will be the Seoul Dynasty versus the Shock. And then the next one will be Toronto and Fusion, and they will be basically starting on an agreed-upon coin flip.
Agreed upon coin flip.
A mutually agreed upon coin flip for the third and fourth seeds.
So does that mean they're both just agreeing? They're okay, we'll do a coin flip, or we're agreeing that you get heads and I get tails? Is
I have no idea. That's all it says. I just got this right before, so I have no idea what this means, but I'm not happy it's not going to be broadcasted. That gives me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, especially for these teams where it's you're going to see, how they're going to do, and you don't get to watch your favorite teams. If they're going to,
because this is pretty big. Yeah, this is the first stage playoffs, the way that they're doing it in this way. I feel like viewers should be able to watch, because like the Defiant and Philly have faced each other off against each other before, but that was during preseason and during the, you know, all Torb meta, Bastion meta fun fest that they had that day. It wasn't serious gaming whatsoever.
It was
and that's how I justify that loss. So
So this whole thing makes me think that obviously they're not preparing for these tiebreakers.
Mhm.
And so I wonder if they're not like playing them, you know, at the arena or anything, if they're maybe just, I don't want to say just playing them at the team houses, but like, is this something that's just played maybe online?
it could be.
You know, like maybe it's just a super low end kind of deal. So, I mean, that's maybe why they're not they're not broadcasting them. And maybe if they're doing that, maybe they're not planning to staff, you know, all the staff. Like obviously people aren't buying tickets to watch the tiebreakers or anything, but like maybe they don't have the production staff there to actually, you know, set that kind of thing up, because whenever you're planning out the season, you're finding out how many hours everyone's doing and all that. So they're probably just maybe didn't even budget for it.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I feel like it's something that you should have in like the financial budget, like anticipating tiebreakers, especially when they're like made to be a part of the system. You know what I mean? Like they're expected in this kind of setup. So it kind of rattles me that like they're like, oh, we don't want to pay the refs, we don't want to pay the production staff. You know, I guess we'll just play these online. I guess have fun, guys.
Well, I think a lot of that, this is just kind of like my tinfoil hat theory. I think a lot of it is the budget is going towards the expansions next year when they all move to their cities. And I think that's where a lot of the money is going. And when you look at how, like, you know, they got rid of the makeup crew, they got rid of, like, you know, the desk time during halftime, like, it just makes a lot of sense that they're kind of cutting on things that they probably shouldn't, because that lowers the quality of production. But that's what makes sense to me.
Yeah. For any of our listeners who don't know, I know we kind of put this out on social media and we really try to project it out there. The Overwatch League for 2020 has been announced that it's going to be, I call it regionalized. I don't know. I'm sure there's a better word for it. Geolocation. Yeah. So every team is going to basically play either out of their state or like out of their area or going to another team's area. So everybody's going to have like their own arena and all this stuff. So, which, I mean, if you're a local fan and you want to watch your local team that's super hype, like Dylan, I can imagine you're going to have a field day.
Oh, yes. And I'll
be going to Atlanta every weekend, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, so, yeah, for the local fans, like that's super dope. But yeah, as we're kind of discussing, like, I mean, like there's some massive financial implications that kind of make that happen, which is kind of bizarre to me, because like the financial state of the Overwatch League has been such like a hot topic of discussion when it kind of comes up in like a grand scheme, and how like, is it profitable, is it going to make money and stuff like that. Like, but I mean, they're doing this, so if like there must be seeing green somewhere, I'm assuming.
All right, it's time. It is time now. Kate alluded to it. She had her own tinfoil hat theory, but I have mine. Okay. So if you think about staffing and all that for events that are local like this, let's just say, I don't know, let's look at the NBA, right? So whenever, let's do hockey, because like I have a good example, because I don't know a lot of sports teams. Right near me is the Capitals, right? They play at the Capital One Arena. Oh, actually, like that. Oh, I think I kind of understood that now. Sorry, I just had a revelation that's like Capital One and then like the Capitals. Anyways, sorry, getting off topic there. But all like they have to have staff there, right? Yeah. You have to have staff to run the event and everything. It's not NHL staff, it's the Capital staff, right? Like they hire stuff to run the events in the arena, right? Yeah. So if you have the local events at local arenas, are they going to hire local staff to run it? And maybe just put a few contractors that travel to do like the stream and stuff like that. So maybe Blizzard's doing this because it's less of a burden on them. It's a less financial burden on them, because then they have less actual local staff there, and you just have the team staff.
That would make sense, because it would be the arena staff of whatever stadium or area they're playing out of. I just I feel when I think of that, I'm like, we're gonna get some like very, very difference in quality production, like depending on like where. I'm sure there's gonna be a standard, but like some teams are gonna have some lit friggin' like, I mean, the Outlaws are probably gonna play either where the Texans, like, can you imagine if they play like where the Texans play or something like that, like, or the Cowboys, like.
I'm pretty sure Dallas is getting its own facility. I'm not sure about Houston. I'm pretty sure Dallas is getting their own though, because I've seen like, I think his name's Mike something, the owner of the Dallas Phil. He's been like showing pictures of like, what their facility is going to look like on Twitter.
I mean, they got oil money though, so I mean, they're probably just like, I don't care. Let's do whatever the hell we want.
That's true, but like you also can look at Philly and Atlanta because they're owned by Comcast, and then the other one, they're probably going to have like insane facilities as well.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I can definitely imagine a lot of these people are going to be, a lot of these teams are just going to have them at, whatever big state, or not big stadium, but probably like somewhat related to the stadiums in the area already. I don't know if a lot of them are just going to build up infrastructure there. Because I know, at least in DC, there was a small arena that they built for, I think it was a few different sports, some music, and then also they mentioned in there esports. They didn't say any particularly, but they mentioned esports, which if you, I don't want to toot my own horn, guys. I don't want to toot my own horn, but flashback a couple months ago, I was like, they're building this in DC. They mentioned esports. I'm telling you guys, there's going to be a team in DC. They're going to do local events. I told you guys.
You did tell us.
I told you. I know. My tinfoil hat theories are mostly right.
Okay, that is the first tinfoil hat theory that's come to fruition. The last tinfoil hat one was like you talking about the dark web and stuff like that. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, don't worry about that one.
Yeah. So,
but overall, what do you guys think? Is this a good thing, bad thing? Do you think it's gonna maybe be too big of, is there gonna be some growing pains? Is this gonna be too much for the league to overcome?
There's gonna be 100% some growing pains. There's no way you can geolocate. How many teams are we running at? Like
20.
20? Yeah, you can't.
And they're not adding any new ones.
Oh, so they're not going to add any new ones.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, that's
Nate Manzer said that during his interview earlier this week. Or was it last? That was this weekend. God, sorry.
Yeah, because you're going to state or country legislation, vice just all at LA, and then there's going to be a ton of like implications with that. Like some teams are going to have a higher quality than others. Like, and I mean, especially depending on their backing. You know what I mean? Like you said, Kate. Like, I mean, the team that backed by Comcast. Like, I mean, imagine what the infrastructure they're going to work with, and then not to crap on my boys up here, who both did very, very well stage one. Vancouver and Toronto both did great.
I was going to say Vancouver's like number one.
Yeah, they're monsters, exactly, right? But even still, they're going to be working with basically, I think they're owned by the Canucks. So, I mean, they're going to be working with whatever the Canucks can kind of give them. And it depends on how their parent company handles them, you know what I mean? And how they really give them what, if they recognize what esports is, if they give them what they need and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So I'm a little skeptical. I'm sure Andrew would tear my head off for that because he's like, no, everybody knows what esports is. You guys own these teams. That's my best Andrew impression, but I mean, I know he's popping in and out of listening, so I'm hoping he catches that. But yeah, no, there's definitely gonna be some massive growing pains. What do you think, Kate?
Y'all will get to know all my thoughts this Wednesday when I have an article coming out about it. So.
Ooh, exciting!
Yeah.
The plug.
Where can people check that out if they want to?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at Sybil_OW, and that's me. And I'll probably be having that out Wednesday, hopefully. But I've been working on that this weekend when I wasn't dying over the Paris-Philly game. So
Fair.
Very exciting. But yeah, so does anyone have any other thoughts, opinions, comments about Overwatch?
James needs to come visit.
I know.
Passport, James.
I gotta finish school. I gotta get my passport, and then I can leave, and then I can go places. Until then, I can't do anything. So it'll be like season 3. So I'll be able to actually go watch a Washington game in Washington.
Yeah, and you can come and stay with me. We'll do a local podcast. It'll be great.
It's great, and then we'll go down to Florida and watch them guys. Would
that be worth the trip, though?
Absolutely.
Florida as a state, though, I don't know if you want to go there.
I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to keep my head down the entire time. I'm just going to go right to the game, and that's it.
You can also come to Atlanta.
It could be a road trip. We'll start in DC, right? You can come down and visit me in DC. Then we'll go down to Atlanta, and then we'll go down and end it in the worst place in Florida.
Do we just pick up Andrew on the way somewhere? Like, I mean, he's in the middle of nowhere, but
That's
like,
true.
Yeah, he'll find his way to us.
He can fly up to.
Wait, no. Me and him can start in Toronto. He can just hop across the pond. We'll watch a Defiant game,
True.
and then go down to Washington. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
All right, so I guess that ends Project Esports or Project Overwatch, a podcast within a podcast. I'm falling apart without Andrew to guide us. But let's jump over to my favorite thing. Yeah. And that is some collegiate esports. So the big news with collegiate esports is that ESPN announced the Collegiate Esports Championship. Now, this is a big deal because it's a ton of top tier games. TESPA and CSL, the two big collegiate esports names out there, are both working together on it with ESPN. So this is huge. This is huge. They're bringing basically everyone together for this massive tournament. It's going to be May 10th through 12th. I think that's just a weekend in May in Houston, which is an interesting place to have it for an esports event. I don't feel like we had too many esports events in Houston before. So this is going to be pretty exciting. So they're going to have Overwatch, Street Fighter V, Hearthstone, StarCraft 2, and Heroes of the Storm. Very cool that they have Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm. Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
So the collegiate scene is still going for that then? The professional?
They're, the Heroes of the Storm, like, esports scope is, like, so... It's self-perpetuating. Like, it's literally, like, running only on itself right now, so...
Okay.
Yeah, so it is very cool that they're going to have this here. As far as the collegiate scene, I know Hearthstone is super, super big, super, super popular in collegiate. Overwatch is fairly popular as well. And then StarCraft 2, I'm excited about it. I'm definitely excited about having StarCraft 2 there. I know for the longest time, CSL was running like the premier collegiate StarCraft league back in the day. That's actually where I competed many, many years ago when I was a young lad. Yeah. But yeah, so this is really cool because actually for Street Fighter V, which collegiate fighting games isn't a thing that anyone ever talks about. And so what's really cool is that TESPA and CSL are working together and they're going to have qualifiers. So the qualifiers are going to happen between now and May at a few different events. So that includes UC Berkeley, The Ohio State University, UConn, which is Husky Gaming, and then the CSL Grand Finals, which is in Atlantic City, and at Rutgers at the Scarlet Classic, which is really cool because to fill everyone in, the Scarlet Classic is actually a fully student-run event. So it's actually run by their esports club, and it's a huge tournament. Like it's giant. It has like every single esport you can possibly think of there that that gets played. They have a ton of different colleges go out there. This is like an extraordinary event for students to put on. And every year it just gets bigger, and it's really amazing. So I'm really glad that they actually are going to have a qualifier there because we're going to see actual huge names come out to this to hopefully qualify for it. So I'm super hyped about it. I think that's all the details I have. I know. I'm kind of just to kind of build on your point. Like this is, I don't know where does Street Fighter Collegiate fall? Is it a part of the FGC? Did the FGC relinquish it because like it's collegiate? Like because I mean this is the first time I've even thought of like FGC like in collegiate kind of being a thing. Like it's never really crossed my mind. So it's weird because the FGC and collegiate are just the same thing basically. Yeah. So you don't normally have collegiate only fighting game events. Normally it's just fighting games. So I guess something that I can, even though I don't think it's a fighting game, Smash. Yeah, Smash. There's this big event that happens at Penn State called Smash Valley. It was actually started by our Smash Club, and it turned into a really big event. And so it's like run by college students, but everyone that goes there they're just normal Smash players. Smash players, okay. And that's usually how things happen. So I know at Scarlet Classic, for example, they have Street Fighter there, they have Smash there, and just people go. You don't have to be a college student, and sometimes people just go and play. So this is going to be interesting to see like an only collegiate league or an only collegiate event for a fighting game. Yeah, because I mean, like every FGC is like, or most FGC events are like, again, like the open tournament. That's why
that's why they're so well loved. So it's kind of weird to see that they're going like in a different direction. Like, what do you expect the turnout to be for this? Like, do you expect like all of, like these closet Street Fighter players that don't really go to the big events kind of come out? Because
no, I don't really think so. I think it's going to be pretty big because there's a lot of really good players in the FGC that just are just college students.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously, we're not going to have like the top players in the FGC play, like the top 8 or whatever. But we're gonna have some pretty good players. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I don't think Sonic Fox goes to any college right now.
I don't think he has. No, because he's a part of Echo Fox, right? So I mean, like, I don't think he.
Well, it's a little bit different for fighting games because you're not like staying at a team house. Or
yeah, that's
like
fair.
That. So he could viably be going to school. And if he's going to school, I think that's probably the only requirement is that you're in a college.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny to see if Sonic Fox just like show up at like at the Ohio State University and just be like, yeah, I'm here to qualify, and just like wrecks everyone. Like even though he doesn't play like Street Fighter 5 that much anymore, he just like dominates everyone.
Yeah, like I'm kind of excited to see what kind of big names like bleed over, like because they're college students. You know what I mean? So I think that aspect will be really fun and interesting. You'll probably see some interesting matchups that you probably wouldn't usually see in the FGC. So I'm sure some guys like not like Sonic Fox or anything like that, but somebody who's like gifted in another fighting game, was like, okay, well, it's collegiate, so I'm not gonna have the same player base that I need to compete with. Try their hand at something else. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think you might see some fun stuff like that, which will be kind of dope.
Yeah, and so I think the reason why I think we're seeing it on ESPN is that inherently ESPN and Blizzard have a relationship already. So not only just because of the Overwatch League, but they also worked with TESPA, which is like a separate company, but like also basically Blizzard. It's kind of confusing. They're at the Blizzard campus, so they're basically just a part of Blizzard. But TESPA actually did the Heroes of the Dorm event, and I think it was 3 years ago. It was actually on ESPN. Was it their debut? Was it like the first time they did it? I think that's when they put it on ESPN. I don't think it was the debut. I think it was the second year. Second year? Okay. I'm not 100% sure. I do remember it because I saw it at a collegiate meetup at PAX East that year in a bar. And it was just on ESPN. That's all. That's why I specifically remember that. And everyone there was from Collegiate, and they were like, "That's us! Like we're on ESPN.
We did it, guys! Yeah.
We did it.
We made it! Yeah."
But yeah, it's super exciting. I'm excited about this. I wish it like wasn't in Houston because like if it was anywhere on the in the Northeast, I probably would have went to it.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting location because it's like in the middle of the country. So I guess it's nice for people in the Midwest who like can't go to most things. Yeah. But it's like if you live in like LA or in like DC, like it's not exactly accessible. So I think that could kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a region that's known for like its esports scene. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit, which is kind of interesting. But I mean, this is like not a bad thing though, because it's like, okay, we're starting to see events that aren't just West Coast, East Coast. You know what I mean? Like, which is a nice change up, right? So.
Yeah, and I mean, the South does have a really, really strong collegiate presence.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, just like a ton of schools in the South just are super into it, especially in Texas. I know that is it Texas?
A&M.
Yeah, is that their state system?
University of Texas, I think, is the big one, and then Texas A&M is like the
UT. Yeah. So Texas. Yeah,
University of Texas is the big one.
And then because the UT schools, like all of them, actually started the collegiate scene, which is interesting. So like they came together, and they were like, "Hey, we all love esports," and like some of the people who went to UT, I think it was Austin, they were like, "Hey, let's partner up with other Texas schools," and that's where TESPA originally got its name. It was like Texas Esports Association.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and then
a little bit of history.
Yeah, and they were a big organization in Texas doing collegiate esports, which was like unheard of back in the day. And they put on really good StarCraft events. So if you remember, any of my old StarCraft 2 boys out there remember Lone Star Clash, that was actually put on by them. And then eventually Blizzard was like, "Hey, let's you should work with us, and we'll do this in the entire United States and Canada. Also, I think Korea now too. Yeah. And so, then it became a big thing. History lesson from
Dylan. Nice little history minute with Dylan Beal.
Yeah, but this is really exciting because the South is really cool for esports, and hopefully this becomes like another hub of esports that we see. So like hopefully it's like Texas and then LA and DC. So hopefully
one day, buddy.
But I guess we'll move on now. I'll throw it over to you, James. Tell us what's going on.
So okay. So I had when I saw this go up on Twitter, God loves Slasher, because Slasher is where, I swear to God, Slasher is where I get like most of my news, because I spend way too much time on Twitter, and of course Slasher spends way too much time on Twitter. And then I see this. So the UK food market, like, our equivalent, like we have Superstore and Sobeys. You guys have what? Like for like supermarkets. So what are they like?
It's like regional. So I don't know if they'll have Food Lion, Giant,
sure, okay.
Piggly Wiggly down here.
Wait, excuse me?
That is a company?
Piggly Wiggly.
I would never shop at a grocery store called that. That's
it's fun.
Horrifying. Oh my God. Okay. So that.
Y'all needed any guesses? I'm from the South. Yes.
Good Lord. Okay. So so Aldi, UK's, I think I'm saying their name right. Aldi, UK's like grocery store, started this program called Teatime Takedown. Now, if anybody of our listeners remember, Bully Hunters back in the day, it kind of mirrors that model. So essentially, how they promote it is your kids on the computer. I'm going to paint a picture. Kid's on the computer. He's on Fortnite. He's getting victory royales. The kid's on a hot streak. He's like, nah, I ain't stopping here. I'm skipping my meal. Parents are pissed. They don't want this. What do? They sign up for the Teatime Takedown. This is exclusively in Britain, by the way. To hire some pro gamers to go find that kid after getting his gamer tag and absolutely beat the shit out of him in game. So he is so discouraged, he gets off. Basically, you are hiring pro gamers to end this kid's hot streak, so he goes and eats dinner. Now, I like a part of my brain just didn't like it. It got to a certain point and then stopped. The gears stopped spinning, and I don't think they realize what they're doing, because I don't think they realize that with modern gaming, this isn't something you can do. You can't just go find a specific player by their gamer tag, which is their thing. Like, you got to provide them this kid's gamer tag, which is kind of sketchy to begin with. So your kid gets basically taken out by this squad of pro esports players, which are like, and this the even more screwed up part is that the company that is a part of it, Velos Esports, is like basically like a they're an esports agents, like they represent like esports players and stuff like that. So they're basically being like, yo, dude, we got this signing for you. You're gonna go play Fortnite, and you're gonna go end this kid's career. So but you can't do that. You can't find specific like matches and stuff like that. So I don't know what they're thinking. I don't think they're thinking. Nobody thought this through. Marketing did not think this through at all. You're basically paying for a cyberbullying service, because what are you going to do? You're basically just going to DM the kid a bunch, telling him he's trash and he should get off because his mom.
Just turn off the internet.
Be better parents.
Yeah, like it's not, this is so extra and ridiculous. Like,
it is.
I can't even. Like, do you not have a backbone as a parent? Just go fucking tell the kid to get off fucking Fortnite. Sorry. I get mad. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm glad Rob isn't here.
Throw up the explicit tag on this.
Sorry.
Yeah. We gotta get the
I'll be quiet from now on. Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's a ridiculous concept that is also archaic, because like, which is weird to me too, because Velos doesn't recognize that isn't how you can do something anymore. Like, I can't think of a single game that like you can really do this. You know what I mean? Like the only technique I can think of them doing this was like I don't know, they party up with the kid and then they int. So the kid has a horrible time. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. You know what I mean? Like, how else do you do this? How else do you execute this?
I guess like none of this makes sense to me. And it's just all of it. There's so much to unpack here. There's just so much. Like you were saying, like this is like harassment and intention. Like it's either like you were saying, like they team up and int, and that's like intentional throwing, or you're just like targeting someone online and harassing them in game, sort of. Yeah. But like you were saying, like, well, first of all, they said gamertag TM is Xbox.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
So does that mean like, do they specifically mean Xbox when they say gamertag? Because like I said, it's gamertag TM Xbox. Like that's theirs. So do they only mean that, or do they mean it in like the ambiguous, like what is their online name? And if they do mean that, I looked at the site. I don't think it says what they play on. Like okay, so like they provide a tutorial to find your kid's gamertag TM Xbox, but I think like they're trying to be all encompassing on all platforms. So like it's kind of like you don't like you can tell them their kid's name on PSN and they try and go hunt for them on like I don't know PC or something. You know what I mean? Like
they have instructions for the Twitch one, and it says log on to your child's computer with their permission.
What?
Did y'all not see this?
I didn't see that. No.
Yep. If you scroll down in Twitch, it says log on to your child's computer with their permission, and then visit twitch.tv. Third, if they are still logged in, their gamer tag will be located in the top right corner of the page. 4, turn the computer off.
Wait, that's why does it want their Twitch though?
I don't know.
Are they going to be like?
They're gonna bully them in Twitch chat.
Are they be posting in Twitch chat? No, sign us up. Sign us up right now for that.
No, you're not gonna go bully some 8-year-old.
No. I mean, sign them up for us so that way we get more viewers in here. People are viewing it. People are chatting at that point. It's a win-win.
That's big brain. Yeah. No.
This
big brain marketing.
This is viewbotting 2.0. None of this makes sense. Right? None of it makes sense. This is a grift, right? Like this isn't real. Like they're just taking people's money, right?
They have to be. There's no way you can't do this. Like when I first read it, I'm like, this is a joke. And then I went through like the terms of service and actually found like the company that like is providing the players, and I was like, oh wait, this isn't a big meme. Like this is a real thing. And I just don't I don't think anybody thought this through. No. Nobody thought this through at all. Mm-mm. It's a goddamn mess. Oh my God.
I love it though. I love weird stuff like this happening because I just don't understand how many years into like esports being like super mainstream and like a really big thing, and we still have this like weird weird grocery store coming in being like, I know how we can capitalize on these gamers. I know what we're gonna do.
Is this why we need esports radicals to like stop stuff like this, Dylan?
No. This is like it's too chaotic, so we keep it in. There's too much chaos. We leave
you guys are okay with this? Like,
I'm okay with it. Yeah, fuel the chaos. Let's go.
No,
oh my God, man.
This is good content. You know, we got some good slasher posts out of this. We got a segment here, like. It's all good stuff. Keep it coming. Give us content. I love it.
I mean, if anything, it gave Aldi like
a ton of promotion.
Yeah, promotion. Like a bunch of people are gonna be like, "This is the store that thinks they can bully 8-year-olds."
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get some milk. Like,
you know what? It's so off kilter for like. So I went and like investigated their Twitter. I was like, man, is this like? Are they trying to like push this regularly? So it's their banner, but like. A big thing they're promoting is like, yo, send us pictures of your dog and like your animals, like, cause you know, you can like bring them to your grocery store. And I'm like, what? Like this, none of this makes sense.
No, I love it. Like if someplace like in America was like, hey, you can bring your dogs here. Also, we bully 8-year-old gamers. I would go shop there instantly.
Of course you would.
That sounds like an awesome place.
Oh my God.
I think they have Aldi's in America though.
Do they?
Yeah, because I think it's the same people that own Trader Joe's, and like their whole deal is like low prices or something. Yeah, I think Andrew's posted in chat. I would assume that's who Popped Off is. Like if it's not me, I assume it's Andrew.
It's not my hands. My hands are off.
They have them here. So they're in both countries, but this is specifically the UK one because like there's a ton of companies like that. Like I know, I think we talked about this before, but like A&W Canada is like basically a different company
than normal A&W.
Yeah, like the US A&W, like the fast food place.
I mean, probably we're kind of weird and stricter with some of our stuff.
Yeah, but you would just have like different. Yeah. Anyways, off from the fast food stuff. Yeah, that's it. That's the story for that, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, for all our listeners, you guys unpack that on your own. Try and come up with a better concept than I did about how they're gonna pull this off, because the best I can think is like inting on their team, because there's no other way you could really do this. So
this is how you come up with T1s, right? Like this is how you just like develop like a just densely toxic player, right? By doing this, like these kids are gonna be toxic.
Oh yeah, these kids. Well, that's like, and that's the thing I'm trying to wrap my head around is like, what kind of kids is this targeted against? Like, how is there that many like awful children playing video games that like you need to hire somebody to go make them get off the computer? Like, I don't know.
Maybe it's a major epidemic in Britain, and we just don't know.
It could be a big problem in UK, and we're just like not aware of it, which is kind of, I don't know, man. That's some scary stuff. Yeah.
All right, so we're coming off towards the end of the show. James, do you want to wrap us up with our last story?
Yeah. So the last thing that was like that I actually kind of saw today, and I wasn't aware of this at all. A lot, like for anybody who doesn't know, there was a mass shooting in New Zealand that was pretty gripping. It was pretty horrifying. It was a gunman opened fire at a mosque. The death toll is up to 50 now, still with a lot of people in hospital. The whole thing's like tragic. It's a mess. New Zealand's having a rough go. And it turns out that one of the people who was a victim there was an ex CS:GO pro from New Zealand, by the name of, and unfortunately I'm not good at pronouncing his name, Ada Elian, I believe is how you say it. He went by back in the day, he went by Crazy Arab. He was basically in the early days of CS:GO, CS Source. So he's been around for a hot minute. He was 33 when he passed away. But he was one of the most terrorizing players in Australia. His team of basically what he referred to them as nobodies and randoms, basically just grouped together and absolutely destroyed Australia. Like they tore up. So unfortunately, Ada was a victim of this. I guess this guy was a huge, as far as like the esports scene, like they love this guy. I can't really do the guy justice as far as like all his accolades and stuff like that, just in this quick little segment. So I do recommend checking out the article. We'll have it linked in the description on the website. It was done by Taha Zaidi. And yeah, he basically just like lays out all his accolades. Read it. It's a really, really good piece. And yeah, no, it's absolutely tragic what happened in New Zealand. So I wanted to kind of do him justice and give this guy a minute on our show, because yeah, it's a sin when anything like this happens. But I mean, when even the esports community is being affected as well, like, I mean, it's an extra little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely ending on a little bit of a somber note there.
Yeah,
definitely a tragedy when anyone leaves the community. And there's definitely, I mean, I guess one of the good notes is that the charity effort for Christchurch has been really, really big. Definitely a lot of outpour through everyone in the world just coming out for New Zealand. So that's very good. So, just go check out any of those charities, retweet them, share them on Facebook, even if you don't want to give anything, because those are always good causes and the community can definitely use it. But I guess that just about wraps us all up, unless anyone has any other stories to talk about this week.
Okay, you got anything to add to the we kind of ended up being a mess with the Aldi story. Like,
yeah, I apologize again for my potty mouth. But no, that's really about it. The Toronto Defiant let go of their translator, and she's on the Los Angeles Valiant now. I believe her name is T Bubbles. So that's kind of another thing that kind of happened today. But other than that, today was just kind of Overwatch news was, just a lot of crazy things happening.
Yeah. So do you want to give a little shout out to yourself? Tell people where they can find you. Thanks again for coming on, because this was great to have you on.
Thanks for having me. This is probably the last time I'll be on here because I can't, not cuss. But let's see. You can find me on Twitter primarily. I'm also super addicted to Twitter, so I'm often on there talking about games. Again, at Sybil, SYBIL_OW. And yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
And so if anyone, just as another reminder, if anyone is in Boston for PAX East, myself and Andrew are going to be there. So come check us out. Shoot us like a DM either on any of our Twitters over at the Project Esports Twitter, which is at the Esports Pod. Just send us a DM and let us know that you're going to be there. We can, come by and say hi. We're going to be there all weekend. So we definitely want to see anyone while we're there. Other than that, thanks everyone for stopping by. Anyone who is, in the chat room, anyone who listens, watches us live, all that good stuff. Thank you so much. James, thank the people.
I love how we've gotten to the point where, James probably isn't going to know what he's supposed to say. So I'm going to tell him what to say. But yeah, no, guys, very much appreciate any interaction we have on any social media platform, in chat, any listeners, all that stuff. Guys, we love it so, so much. Yeah, we wouldn't be here without you. So God love you.
Yeah. And you can find us live every single Monday. I'm talking every single Monday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time over here at twitch.tv/popped_off. You can find all the VODs up over at our YouTube page at Popped Off, or you can listen to the audio version, the best version, I think, over at any major podcast platform out there. So like Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, Podbean, Podmeme, any of those ones. Just go out there on any of them and just search Project Esports Podcast. You're going to find it. You're going to listen to it. You're going to love it. But with that, I'm Dylan.
I'm James.
And I'm Kate.
Thanks for listening, everyone.